Liam Hayes had waited months for this moment. A life-changing interview with one of the country's most prestigious tech firms. Suited up, briefcase in hand, he sprinted across the crowded streets, rehearsing answers in his mind. But then he saw her, an elderly woman, frail and struggling to carry her groceries across a busy intersection. Without thinking, he dropped everything, lifted her bags, and guided her to safety. He missed his interview. What he didn't know was that this simple act of kindness had been witnessed by the woman's granddaughter, Isabella Kane, a powerhouse CEO with the influence to change his life forever. Liam Hayes had always believed in preparation. Years of grinding in entry-level positions, weekend courses, and networking events had led him here, the lobby of Sterling Technologies, a company known for taking risks on talented individuals who thought outside the box. He clutched his briefcase, smoothing his tie for what felt like the 100th time. The receptionist glanced up and gave a polite smile as he signed in, and Liam's pulse quickened. This could be it. The interview that would finally launch him into the career he had spent years chasing. The city street outside was chaotic, cars honking, commuters hustling, the sharp smell of exhaust and coffee filling the air. Liam had rehearsed every step of this walk, every word he would say. But fate, it seemed, had its own plans. As he turned a corner, he noticed a flurry of movement ahead. An elderly woman struggled against a grocery bag that had ripped, spilling apples and cans across the pavement. The crowd walked past, some slowing for a glance, most ignoring her. Liam's chest tightened. He could hear his inner voice screaming at him to move on. He was late. Every second mattered, but something stronger tugged at his instincts. Without thinking, he stepped forward, bending down to gather the scattered groceries. "Let me help you with that," he said, steadying the trembling woman. She looked up, eyes wide and grateful, and smiled faintly. He lifted the remaining bags and escorted her safely across the street, ignoring the honking cars and the chaos around them. Only when he reached the other side did he glance at his watch. His interview had started 20 minutes ago. Panic surged through him. He apologized profusely to the woman, whose frail hands gripped his arm as she thanked him repeatedly. Liam sprinted down the street, but it was too late. The lobby doors of Sterling Technologies had closed, and the receptionist shook her head apologetically as he arrived. Defeat sank deep. This was it. The opportunity he had waited for slipped through his fingers. He wandered onto the sidewalk, shoulders heavy, trying to process the collision of choice and consequence. That's when he noticed her, standing across the street. She was young, confident, dressed in a tailored suit that radiated authority. Her gaze had been on him from the moment he helped the woman, and now she approached with a determined stride. "You helped my grandmother," she said, voice clear and firm. "I saw what you did back there." She extended her hand. "I'm Isabella Kane." Liam blinked, unsure whether to shake her hand or apologize for missing the interview. I'm Liam. I'm really sorry. Isabella raised a hand, stopping him mid-apology. "Don't apologize. That's exactly the kind of person I need in my company. Someone who does the right thing, even when no one is watching." Liam's jaw went slack. This was supposed to be an ordinary day of disaster, yet it had turned into something entirely unimagined. Over the next few days, Liam found himself receiving emails from Isabella's assistant, requesting a meeting. Curiosity, disbelief, and cautious hope mixed together. He had missed his dream interview, yet here he was invited into the offices of Kane Industries, a company he had only dared to admire from a distance. The lobby was sleek, minimalist, with glass walls and polished floors reflecting the mid-morning sun. Liam followed Isabella through corridors filled with awards and photographs, glimpses into a life of achievement he had rarely imagined touching. She led him into a conference room where a single chair awaited him. "I read your resume," Isabella began, her tone casual but commanding. "But what intrigued me more was your instinct back on the street. That decision, to help without thought of reward. That tells me more about you than any line on paper ever could." Liam swallowed, humbled and nervous. "I didn't think about it. I saw someone who needed help." "Exactly," she said, leaning forward. "We need people in leadership who act without hesitation, who trust their instincts. Those are the ones who can drive change." She paused, studying him. "I want you on my team, Liam." not because of a traditional interview, but because you demonstrated qualities money and credentials can't buy. Shock and gratitude collided within him. He had spent years trying to prove himself through formal channels, resumes, and networking events, only to realize that character often spoke louder than experience. Isabella's words resonated. He accepted her offer without hesitation, shaking hands with the CEO who had witnessed a moment of kindness and turned it into life-altering opportunity. In the following weeks, Liam adapted to the high-paced environment of Kane Industries. Isabella was demanding but fair, pushing him to excel while trusting him with critical responsibilities. Liam's background, once considered unconventional, became an asset. His resourcefulness, grounded decision-making, and empathy toward employees distinguished him quickly. He discovered that Isabella's company valued not just results, but integrity, vision, and human instinct. Through late nights of brainstorming sessions, executive meetings, and project challenges, Liam and Isabella formed a subtle bond. He admired her confidence, her relentless pursuit of excellence, and the rare moments when her warm humor surfaced. She, in turn, appreciated his sincerity, reliability, and the way he navigated obstacles with calm pragmatism. Though their worlds were vastly different, a quiet respect, and perhaps something deeper, began to grow between them. Months passed and Liam's contributions were increasingly visible. He spearheaded innovative solutions, earned recognition, and began mentoring newer employees, embodying the same values that had drawn Isabella to him in the first place. Kane Industries flourished under the combined vision of Isabella and the fresh perspectives Liam brought. One late evening, Isabella called him into her office. The city lights glimmered through the floor-to-ceiling windows. She closed the door behind him, and for the first time, her usually composed expression softened. "Liam," she said quietly, "I wanted to thank you again, not just for the work you've done, but for reminding me why I do this. Watching you act without expectation, lead with empathy, it inspires me." Liam's chest tightened. "I was just trying to do the right thing," he said, his voice humble. "Honestly, I never expected anything beyond helping someone in need." She smiled, a brief, radiant moment. "And yet sometimes doing the right thing changes everything, including lives." She hesitated, then added, "including mine." The words hung in the air, fragile and electric. Liam realized then that this wasn't just a professional bond. Something had shifted. An unspoken connection built on mutual respect, shared values, and perhaps a spark neither could ignore. Outside, the city carried on, oblivious to the transformation inside a high-rise office. Liam left that evening with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that one small act of kindness had changed the trajectory of his career, his life, and perhaps even his heart. Over the following months, Liam and Isabella continued to work closely. Their collaboration was seamless. She challenged him intellectually, and he complemented her strategic vision with grounded decision-making. Yet their bond began to extend beyond the office, subtle gestures of concern, shared laughter over late-night deadlines, and quiet moments where neither could ignore the growing warmth between them. One rainy evening, after a particularly grueling project presentation, Isabella found Liam waiting with an umbrella outside the building. "You didn't have to," she said, touched. "I wanted to," he replied, smiling. "You've changed my life, Isabella. I just hope I can return the favor." She looked at him, rain dripping down her hair, and felt a flutter she hadn't anticipated. "You already have," she said softly. "More than you know." Their relationship deepened naturally, built on shared principles, mutual admiration, and the understanding that real trust and respect could withstand the pressures of power and ambition. Liam learned to navigate the world of CEOs and boardrooms with confidence, and Isabella rediscovered the joy of connection and human instinct she often buried under her responsibilities. Eventually, Kane Industries celebrated a major success, a project spearheaded by Liam that exceeded expectations, earning accolades for both him and the company. Isabella raised a toast, smiling warmly at him. "To the man who missed an interview and ended up being exactly where he was meant to be," she said, voice rich with emotion. Liam laughed, feeling a mixture of disbelief and gratitude. "To unexpected choices," he added, "and to the people who see the good in them." As the crowd cheered, Liam glanced at Isabella. There was an unspoken acknowledgement between them, One small act of kindness had not only reshaped his career, but opened the door to something far more meaningful: trust, connection, and perhaps even love. And as they left the celebration together, walking side by side into the night, Liam realized that sometimes life's detours were not setbacks, but invitations to a destiny greater than one could ever plan.